Hi, everybody. I hope you are doing well today. So, we're going to do a reading about Anna Nicole Smith. Real name was Vicky, eventually it was Vicky Marshall, but her birth name was Vicky and her stage name was Anna Nicole Smith. So, today I'm using my go to tarot deck, which is the Little Golden Tarot. I also have my clear quartz and my sunstone, and then I have my sunny. Yeah. So we're gonna get started. I've already shuffled my deck, and yes, my little cloth is torn. Nicole Smith had a very odd life and very sad. If you look into her life, she was definitely sexually abused, and many people would consider her a victim of trafficking because of the types of things that she went through. She was married by the time I believe she was 16 and had her oldest son, Daniel, and then became a huge model for Guess Jeans and appeared in different types of television shows and eventually had her own show on E! Entertainment. She was also known for marrying a man who was like 93 years old and passed away, and went to court to try to get some of his money, and he was like a gazillionaire. She had a series of very unfortunate events happen before she passed away at age 39. She was pregnant with her little girl, and her son, Danny, Daniel, passed away really shortly after the birth. And I can't remember if it was a day or two, but it wasn't very long. I believe he got to meet his little sister, but after that, he passed away. And we believe it's from a drug overdose, but not 100% sure. And then just a few days following, Anna Nicole passed away herself at 39. Not only did two people pass away, but this baby was left alone, and I, I don't know what happened. I mean, nobody really knows what happened, but today I'm going to ask Anna Nicole, did she kill herself? I can't imagine the grief of losing one son after bringing a daughter into this world. And I don't know if that was something that she did or was that something that was done to her. So let's just kind of take a look here. Well, that was pretty poignant. I don't read. Oh, God. I don't read reverse. Okay, male energy. So the King of Cups represents the lawyer Howard Stern. He was the king of his own kingdom. He was drinking out of a cup that is plentiful. And he is ruling his own land. He is focused completely on one thing, and that is his empire. I always say this wrong, the Hermaphrodite also is a pope figure, a religious figure. It almost makes me feel like there was like a cult-like thing happening around her that maybe she was involved in, like a sacrifice. Like, her firstborn, Daniel, was a sacrifice, and she had to pay the piper because of some dealings she made, but I don't think she was in her right mind to make that type of decision. But when I say she had to pay the Pied Piper, I mean she had to pay. She did some stuff in exchange for money and fame, and she had to pay the piper. So I believe that Howard, the lawyer, was making sure that her deal with this cult like situation went through, and he was going to make sure that happened. But it was also part of his deal, too. The Ace of Wands, again, very masculine, very singular focused. Daniel was a target, unfortunately. Daniel was the price to pay. And I believe Anna knew that on some level, and she was trying to get away. But if you guys remember, she was like in the Bahamas and had this weird commitment ceremony with Howard, the lawyer. And he was really the one in charge of her life and her decisions. And the father of Anna's child wasn't around in the Bahamas. Larry, he couldn't help her, he couldn't protect her. This was set in stone. And I think Anna was starting to relent and she wanted to go back. But I think Howard, sorry, was going to make sure that happened, because he didn't just sell his own soul, he helped Anna sell hers too. And that's why he was constantly a figure in her life, even during the television show. And he was there for a very long time. What an odd character. This is all his fault. Well, not all of it. Anna definitely had her say in it, but at the time of her death, when she was trying to stop what was happening, it was already in motion. And I don't think she could have stopped this. Nope, she had to pay the double. All right. Two of Pentacles. Money. Money, 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 money. So, two focuses on money. Pentacle cards obviously equal money. And this was... she sold out twice. I think once was for fame, and then the second was for fame and money, we'll just say that. And the second was for the baby, for Danny Lynn. But as you can see, she sold her soul to the devil at a different time in her life, when she was younger, and she was chained to Howard because he sold his soul too. But he sold his soul for a specific reason, to keep this woman under wraps and to keep her chain connected to the devil. So there was some weird, disgusting cult-like things happening here. But I see a split. I mean, again, very male energy here, but I see a split in Anna's personality, even, where if she was presented with having done the process of selling her soul and sacrificing her firstborn at the age she was 39 years old, and what she knew and everything that she did prior to her death, she never would have done it. But she had to pay the piper for the dealings that she made, and her firstborn was the sacrifice. And then, of course, we have the Five of Wands, which is kind of like the Battle of the Dicks, who I hate saying that any other way, but Larry and Howard were battling huge time after the death of Anna Nicole to get a hold of the child. And thank God Howard didn't get a hold of her, and Larry did, because Larry obviously was the father. I didn't think there was any doubt. But if somehow little Danny Lynn would have stayed with her, I don't even know who he would be, her Mama's kind of boyfriend there, Howard, he would have done the same thing to her. So thank God for Larry. He took little Danny Lynn away and she was safe. This was definitely something she did to herself. She saw Larry as a savior. He was the knight in shining armor, but she could not deal with the money situation because even though she was rich, she was also broke. You know, she did not have any handle on her financial or fiscal anything, and money was being pulled in all separate directions, and God knows if she actually was as well off as she thought she was, but clearly people were dipping into the pot all over around her. So people who worked with her, worked for her, were blatantly stealing money from her. But she was distracted by other things. She was distracted by not just Larry, but other loves in her lives. But she did see Larry as a savior, as the knight. And this was their relationship. And she could have been happy, but there was some pandering in her relationship, which came from outside forces that would not let her be happy. Ooh, Dolly. Okay. So obviously, she ended up dead. Her son ended up dead. This is a woman solitary looking back on the sunset of her life and realizing that she has made some pretty big mistakes and she wasn't in the right mind for a good chunk of them. A lot of people stabbed her in the back. A lot of people were extremely greedy, and a lot of people around her were keeping her well supplied with drugs and alcohol and whatever they could because they wanted to keep Anna under their control. And Anna was a fool. I believe Anna had a little dog, actually. She was a fool, and she didn't realize the game that she was playing was actually real until the last several months of her life. You know, she didn't really believe that if you bargain with the devil, you'll have to pay. She has to pay the piper, and like I said, I see some weird little cult stuff going on with this, but she knew on some level what was going to happen. She didn't believe it. And when it happened, I almost wonder if she just collapsed or if she just couldn't handle it or she didn't want anything to happen to her daughter. Whatever the case may be, she would have died soon anyway. So, while she was a fool, she wasn't stupid. She tried to put on that stupidity hat for everybody, and that's what the ditzy blonde got her famous. They tried to make her seem stupid, but she was not. But it doesn't mean that she didn't make some very foolish choices in her life, including the bartering of her own soul, which is definitely something that she did. We're just going to do 3 more. Everything's about money and dicks. It really is all about money and dicks. Yeah, there's a lot of money going on, and there's a lot of people still trying to get at the fortune of Danny Lynn. That little girl needs some protection, and I hope her daddy is good enough to protect her. Somebody still has that eye on the prize. Some big dick. She's protected. So We still have a man's singular focus on the money. A whole bunch of dicks around, but singular focused on the money. But Dani's gonna be fine. She's a warrior herself, and I think she's learned from her mother's mistakes and from the sad sacrifice that happened with her brother. She's a smart girl, and hopefully she will stay out of the spotlight, but she is protected. She's got a lot of strong people around her, but that doesn't mean that people aren't going to come after her. But as you can see, she's got a shield here, and she's sitting in abundance, and she's like, yeah, come for me, bitch. So she's fine. She's gonna be fine. She's surrounded by protection, and hopefully she will not go down the same path that her mom did, because her mom honestly didn't believe what was gonna happen happened. So as Sunny's foot tells you, that's probably enough for right now. This has been my reading about what happened to Anna Nicole Smith, and I hope you guys leave a like and a comment. I hope you guys have a great day no matter where you are in the world, and don't forget that every single day is a gift. Use your time wisely.